What? Froggy, is that you? You're looking kinda weird, good buddy. What's up with the tail? Hey, wait a minute! You swallowed my lucky charm! Come back here! What's wrong with you? Something's not right. We've always been friends. For years. Froggy! Wait up! Oh dear. Yoo-hoo, Froggy! Come out wherever you are! Oh man, where could my Pollywog pal be anyway?
Hello everybody, I am Skully the Metalhead. Welcome back to the Sonic Adventure commentary, and you know, I was having a pretty nice night. It's Sunday, 11:52 PM, and Big the Cat, everybody. Again, I know I might not sound very enthusiastic right now, but again, I'll go into it as we go into Big Story, because trust me, we are in for a lot of slow-paced gameplay, so there'll be plenty of time to talk.
Froggy, there you are. Wait, don't run away. What you doing under that car? What's wrong?
So, Big the Cat. If you could, well, you probably already know from the opening cutscene, Big is a simple-minded lad. He lives in the Mystic Ruins, has a simple existence where he cares little for anything else except for fishing and hanging out with his best pal Froggy. Now, when his pet frog was taken away by the evil that is Chaos and his tail, which I guess, considering the fact that it's part of his body, is indeed sentient, I'm not necessarily too sure on Chaos's biology, but in any case, his frog has been taken by, well, Chaos I suppose, and now it's hopping mad, quite literally, all across Station Square. And as Big, doing what he knows best, he's going to fish him out of, basically whatever watery surface he hops in. A lot of people like to question this gameplay style, claiming that it's ill-fitting for Sonic, but again, diving into a bit of development history here, the idea of including fishing gameplay, and again, I'm not entirely sure where this surfaced, but I believe it was formed in the idea that with a lot of the fast-paced gameplay styles, like, you know, with Sonic and his action stages, Tails being a race against time, and Knuckles with his more exploratory gameplay, and I guess Amy's... how would I classify Amy's gameplay? I suppose it'll probably be a mixture between stealth and on-the-run gameplay. More on that later as we actually get around to covering it. And, you know, with Gamma's shooting segments, I guess the general idea that Sonic Team wanted to put across was a gameplay style that players could go at their own pace with. Now, as far as Japanese fans reacting to this, I'm not entirely sure whether or not they think that it's a good thing or a bad thing. But out here in the West, a lot of Sonic fans took particular eye with this. Now, this is mostly in the case because, well, again, I suppose a lot of Western or at the very least Sonic fans, I shouldn't really put Western people in a box like that, is that they believe that high-speed, fast-paced action stages would be more befitting of a Sonic game, for the sake of consistency, and, you know, I can completely understand that mindset. On the other hand, however, I'm not entirely too sure whether or not this style was evoked, you know, back when Sonic Adventure was Sonic RPG for the Sega Saturn, and, you know, this mini-game that was possibly a part of that was eventually incorporated into Sonic Adventure, you know, for the reasons which I just stated. I don't know which case it is, or whether or not this is just a completely bogus theory, but it is something interesting to think about. And if you're wondering why I'm not covering the gameplay mechanics just yet, I will soon, because there is plenty of dead air to talk over in Big Story. It's very light on story, so to every single Sonic fan that complains about, oh no, the Sonic series is too story heavy, any story sucks because the bad plot holes, yeah, well, Big Big has one of the lightest fucking stories in the game, so, you know, by definition, Big the Cat is good, not because the meme, it's because it's the actual good no story. I honestly don't get Sonic fans, man. But anyway, to talk about Big for a moment in terms of his gameplay, what you saw there was a lure power-up. The lure power-ups, again, as is obvious by the name, they pretty much allow fish to attract to your rod a little bit better, which, again, to talk about the gameplay even further, is that Big's gameplay, for as much as it is decried by a lot of Sonic fans, does actually contain a lot of intricacies if you're willing to invest in it, and, well, again, I said it earlier when Sonic Team had the mission statement, but it really is a go-at-your-own-pace sort of gameplay. And I'm guessing that might be the mindset of why people hate it so much, because in a Sonic game people are thinking like, okay, gotta do a lot of action stuff, we must increase our terminal velocity and all that kind of stuff, but really, it's just kind of casting your rod into the water and just being relaxed and seeing what you catch. Like, I mean, again, I'm no expert fisherman, like, at the best of times. In fact, most times I usually tend to do it, it's usually just more of a casual thing. But, it's peaceful, man. And, again, I'm not gonna say that that's my favourite gameplay style out of everything in Sonic Adventure, or even video games in general, but, again, as far as Big's gameplay is concerned, I find it mostly harmless, you know? And, one thing I should also mention is that this is also a bit of a cut-down version of Big's story. Because, you know, I'm pretty sure you don't want to watch fishing the entire time. Anyway, now we got our mandatory power-up for Big, and it's a bra! No, it's a life belt. What a fucking shit-house power-up. Like, you know, just imagine being in like you were thrust into a video game situation and you found out that your main power-up was a fucking life belt. Oh god, I still remember I still remember laughing at the Sonic Shorts description of it. Like when there was this like big joke about the power-ups you get in Sonic Adventure. I think it was the same thing that also contained the I am gay gloves. You know, where it was with I don't know. I just like the way in which it was pronounced, like, you got the life belt. I don't know, just so enthusiastically. In any case, one other thing I would like to bring up, and that's something that we'll be getting across here, is that, and again, another thing that I think I was going to bring up in Sonic Story as well, is that, yeah, as you can see here, this is Ice Cap in the secondary portion. You'll notice that just up there are a lot of, you know, springs, spikes, pretty much everything that was there in Sonic Stage is still maintained here. Now, the thing about the stage design in Sonic Adventure is that it was designed for 3 different characters in mind. Because usually, 3 different characters will access a specific stage at certain times during the gameplay, and in the case of Ice Cap, it's usually Big, Sonic, and Tails. Now, of course, Sonic gets the full main course of Ice Cap, having to go through all 3 areas, Tails gets the snowboarding section, and Big gets this area to fish through. Now, you might think that this is structurally sound, but in actuality, this is a little bit higgledy-piggledy in terms of level design, which I don't really... Again, a lot of people like to call Sonic Adventure, well, to some degree, open world, or that it's a lot more spacious than your typical Sonic game. Now, I don't think it was intentionally designed this way, because Sonic Adventure was designed for 3 different characters in mind, per level. And the second biggest example I could use is Red Mountain, but again, I'll get to that when we tackle Knuckles' story. But with Big's character, and again, as you can see here, there's quite a bit to explore in Ice Cap. But again, this level wasn't designed to be spacious, you know, just for the sake of exploration as Sonic alone. This was designed for Big, you know, to explore around and to find some lure power-ups, or, you know, designed for Knuckles to look for emerald pieces. And again, because of that, the level does end up losing a lot of its, you know, sound structure, which in Sonic Adventure 2, when you had stages specifically focused on a certain character, that very much brought back the whole Sonic and Knuckles design, where even though a lot of its intricacies were limited by, you know, virtue of having to program for one gameplay style alone per specific stage, it's very interesting to see how people react to this. And again, I'm no expert on game design at all, so again, this is just my amateur look. But again, judging by previous Sonic games and the way in which a lot of the design elements seem to coalesce, especially in Sonic Adventure for the multiple gameplay styles, it is interesting to see how a lot of fans tend to interpret that. And again, that's not to say that my interpretation is right or your interpretation is wrong, but it's just something that I noticed, and again, it's just my observation, so I could be completely talking out of my arse on that. Huh, I actually went on that tangent so long I didn't even bother to cover the fucking gameplay. Oh, this commentary is going to be a snap. Well, I hope anyway. You know what's funny? I've been more coherent in Big's part of the story than I have been for Tails, Sonic, or any other part of the game, really, which is incredibly surprising, but then again, I suppose the fact that it's just Big's gameplay puts my mind a little bit more at ease. Because with Sonic and Tails, I feel the need to kind of comment about specific things, and I guess that kind of makes me stumble over my words. Which is rather interesting, actually. I guess maybe this is the true power of Sonic Team that is cracked.
Oh no! He's got my little bunny! Whoa! Glad I found you! Oops! Oh, now what am I gonna do?
See? Like, I mean, as I said before, Big is very light on story, and again, this is just something you randomly encountered in Tails' story. And that's pretty much it. Off we go into the Mystic Ruins, where we can access Big's second power. I think you can actually get this as early as the beginning of the game, actually. Unfortunately, though, was a bit of a trade-off. Big navigating the Mystic Ruins is hell, especially when you get down here and you land in water. He is slow as molasses, but then again, he is a big fat cat, so I don't exactly know what you're expecting in terms of high-speed action, although Big does climb ladders surprisingly fast, so maybe if Big had some hardcore ladder climbing gameplay... Oh, God, that was... God damn it, that was so sweet! See, that's why I love talking to the NPCs in Sonic Adventure, and why I kind of miss Hobwells, and the fact that the... I don't know. Game philosophy from the late 90s, it's dead now, essentially. Anyway, what was I talking about? I completely forgot. Oh well, anyway, now we move on to Big's secondary power-up. I don't think you're forced to get this one like you are the life pad. Actually, now that I think about it, you're not really forced to get any of Big's power-ups, because you can actually just bypass the life belt and the power rod. Oh, Optimus Prime transition, I missed you so much. But anyway, yeah, you can bypass the power rod and the life belt, and, well, nothing is really affected by it. Like, I mean, with Sonic, you can't avoid the Lightspeed dash shoes. With Tails, you can't avoid the first prize ribbon without having to activate plot. Again, a lot of the characters' upgrades are very specific to them, but in the case of Big, well, you don't really need them. So, you can complete the game as normal, but getting a lot of Big's power-ups is very lucrative, because it does make a lot of the fishing mechanics a lot easier. And unlike before, where I just kind of skipped over it for, well, reasonable tangents, which I'm surprised I never had the time to mention anywhere else, yeah, it really does help to serve the fishing mechanics. Which is very regrettable to say that Big's fishing mechanics had more thought and effort put into them than quite a lot of Sonic Team's gameplay concepts post-2001. And again, I don't want to be the kind of person that rags on Sonic Team, because again, everybody has done it, and honestly, you know, as a team on its own, Sonic Team does a lot of decent work in the ideas department, and, you know, given that they have Takashi Iizuka as their head honcho now, that is very much prevalent in his work as an ideas man, you know? But in any case, enough beating around the bush, time to discuss gameplay mechanics. As Big the Cat, you cast your lure, which can be used to hit enemies, as you can see there, and of course to cast it off into the sea where you can catch fish. Now, when you're catching a fish, you'll usually have a meter that's on the side of the thing, and that is to do with your line's integrity. Now, if your line pressure gets too much, then the line will snap and you will lose a life, because I guess Big doesn't have the money to fork out for another fishing rod, and thus he must commit suicide and atone for his sins in the next life. As for shaming his ancestors or something. Or so I presume. Now, anyway, your main goal is to catch Froggy at the end of the day, so if you want to complete the stage, just focus on catching Froggy. However, if you want to get a high score, and again, some of the later missions will entail you catching fish a certain amount of, grams of fish in order to, get the different rankings. And again, if you're willing to invest in it, you can get some massive catches quite easily. However, at the same time though, the trick of it is to kind of have a bit of a light touch about things. Because again, if you just reel it back too fast, or if you focus too much on reeling it back, then the line will snap and you'll die. However, if you just know when to let go and how to manipulate the rod, because again, if you manipulate the line, you need to make the fish look alive, or the bait I should say. You need to make it look edible towards Froggy and the fish, and again, the lures do help, because they make the fish and Froggy come to you quicker. And again, these are some really interesting mechanics, because, again, they do help out. Again, there's a lot to think about with Big's fishing gameplay. Like, I mean, making the line look attractive to your prey, then at the same time, trying to make sure that your line doesn't tap. Again, it's all very well thought out gameplay, surprisingly. And again, I think a lot of people tend to misjudge that because it's a Sonic game, I want to go fast because I have ADHD. Again, I don't mean to insult people who do have ADHD or anything, but credit where credit is due,
Froggy? Uh-oh. No! Hold on there! Come back, please! Give me my friend back! I'm begging you, please! Froggy? This place doesn't look familiar to me at all. Smells like Froggy's around somewhere. Think I'll see what's behind this door.
Yeah, cutting right to the hot shelter because I want to cut out as much faffing about as I can. And again, there is a surprising amount of... Again, one thing I probably alluded to it back in Ice Cap, but with Big's levels, there is a lot more depth than you might think to them. Now, again, as I mentioned before, the layouts, while they are very much centered around, 3 different characters, in the case of the hot shelter, it's Gamma, Big, and Amy. Now, again, a lot of Amy's level design, and I believe... Actually, is it Gamma? Yeah, it is Gamma, sorry. Yeah, again, a lot of the level design is very much reminiscent of the stuff that was taken from Amy's story. However, at the same time, though, there is a lot of places to explore as Big, and there are quite a few pools within the hot shelter where you can fish, and in a general sense, you can find some decent catches and, find yourself getting some of the A-rank missions done pretty easily. However, it is all up to your volition to find them within the levels themselves, and again, using the life belt, it'll allow you to access places, which you never thought Big would be able to access given his, limited mobility. So again, you see, there is a surprising amount of depth to Big's gameplay, although I think it's the player's willingness to explore it is ultimately going to be the deciding factor here. Do you enjoy this fishing gameplay? A lot of Sonic fans typically don't, but again, not everybody has the same sort of taste, and for all intents and purposes, maybe there is 1 or 2 people out there who do enjoy Big's fishing gameplay, and honestly, I don't see a lot of commentaries talking about Big's gameplay, or at the very least, discussing Big in a neutral light, outside of going, oh, it's Big the Cat, he's a dumb, stupid idiot, because he's the meme. But to be perfectly honest, I never really got the impression that Big was, pants on head stupid. I honestly just got the impression that he was more simple-minded, so to speak. Like, I mean, he's somebody who goes fishing, he lives in the jungle, he's just content to do as he pleases, fishing and living a simple life. Like, I mean, it doesn't require a lot of intelligence, well, mostly. It's just something where... I don't really know how to describe it. Big's just such a simple character that it's almost genius in the way in which he's written, because he's not written like, duh, how do I function both? But instead it's just written in a way in which is like, yeah, I'm gonna go fishing, oh, that's nice. Oh, Sonic and Eggman? Yeah, hi. Bye. I'm gonna go do my own thing over here. It's written so casually that I can't help but kind of admire Big Story in a way.
Bad. Yes. We're together again at last, huh? Huh? That's strange. Where am I? Froggy?
And now for reasons I cannot absolutely fathom is why Takao wanted to show off all this to Big. And sadly no, you can't cast off your lure and go fishing off the bridge because that would possibly cause a time paradox and Big will become a Time Lord. So I assume anyway. Big will regenerate into Blaze the Cat. I don't know, or something. Yeah, I still have absolutely no idea why Takao decided to show Big this. I guess maybe the fact that Chaos's tail was tangentially related to Big. She decided to show him. I don't know, it's really weird. But I'll cover this a bit later.
Wow. Is it alright for me to be here? So do you trust me? So these are the 7 emeralds. Could it be? The servers are the 7 Chaos Emeralds, unified by one that is the controller. The 7 Chaos, the controller itself. Could this be the emerald that controls the 7 Chaos?
Froggy? I don't like the looks of this place. If something happens now, there's no point to my rescuing you. I don't know who would bother to save us both. We better get going, buddy!
Emergency alert has been cancelled. Resuming monorail operation.
And now we must escape from the egg carrier. And I think this is probably the one and only time you ever tend to use the tram system in the game. Which, you know, is I actually do think is a bit of a decent, sense of continuity, or I guess reality to the structure of Eggman's base. Makes it feel very lived in, you know, compared to the abstract bases you would have seen in the Mega Drive games.
So, I see you're trying to escape. I'm right on time. Chaos, grab him! Get that frog! And don't forget the Chaos Emerald! Alright, and now for the frog. The frog is possessed by your tail! Once you get your tail, you'll be complete and ultra strong!
Unbelievable! Look what happened! Chaos has transformed again!
Huh?
Uh-oh. Gotta go!
Froggy? I'll save you! Don't worry, Pally!
So, he's your friend, eh? No sweat. I'll get him back. Watch me.
Careful, Froggy! Don't worry! We'll get you back!
Okay, dudes and dudettes, things are about to get serious. We have Big's one and only boss fight in the game, and it's time to get hardcore to the extreme. How will Big solve the problem? He will just cast his lure and get it. Edited for your convenience after all, but yeah, that's Big's boss fight. Which makes him the strongest Sonic character in the entire series for beating a boss fight in just one hit.
Hooray! Froggy! I won't let them take you away again!
Go on and get out of here! I'll do the rest!
Oh, okay. Thanks. Come, little buddy. Time to get a move on. Huh? What? Hey, maybe we could use this. But I don't know the first thing about it. Oh well, I'll give it a try anyway.
Just saying this now, prepare for the funniest cutscene you have ever seen in your goddamn life. That, dudes and dudettes, was Big the Cat's story in Sonic Adventure. Now, I have to sit and ask myself many things. First of which being, how in the ever-loving fuck was Big the Cat's story of all things the commentary part where I was the most coherent? Like, I mean, in Sonic and Tails' story I was a mumbly fucking mess, but in Big's story I'm apparently as... I'm as coherent as I've ever fucking been in a YouTube video, well... Actually, even in conversations in general, because I mumble a hell of a fucking lot, and somehow Big Story just brought out this lax person in me, which kind of frightens me, to be honest. I never thought I'd have this much to say about Big the Cat, but there you go, this is probably going to be the best part. Which is a shame, because everybody's probably going to skip this part, because, Big the Cat, no, we don't like that, don't like it. Oh well. You know, if nothing else, I'm at the very least glad that I could have discussed Big in a more neutral and positive light than a lot of people seem to do, because I do genuinely like Big's character. He's a simple guy, does simple things, and just wants a simple existence. He doesn't know who Sonic is, he doesn't give a shit about Eggman, he doesn't care about saving the world or trying to better himself, he's just living a simple existence out in the jungle, living with his best friend, having a good fish, and that's generally just what he likes to do. In a way, there's sort of a simplistic genius to how Big's story is written. It isn't written in the sense of, oh god, the world is being destroyed, we have to stop them. It's just, yeah, gonna go fishing, that's my day. And again, as I said with Sonic Adventure beforehand, it's very much a slice of life, you know, storytelling philosophy that I really love about Sonic Adventure, and it really makes it stand out from pretty much every other game in the series for just how laid back it is. Like, I mean, even in games like Sonic Unleashed, which did take it fairly easy, you know, there was always a thing of, the world's gonna be destroyed, but in Sonic Adventure, while there is the plot with Chaos and Dr. Eggman taking over the world, it's all very lax and dependent upon whose story you're following, which gives it importance, which, in Big's case, has, well, little to no importance, which, to some people, yeah, I can see why it would turn a lot of people off, but to me, well, just for being something different in the Sonic series, and done in a way in which it was completely sticking to its guns without having to compromise by being some sort of insecure, nervous little bitch about it, we're going, oh no, we're just doing it for the lols, it's comedy. And I'm sorry, but I could never see Big's story being done in a modern Sonic game without some sort of acerbic bit of, you know, humour thrown into it. But again, I don't want to get too negative, so let's just summarise Big the Cat, or at the very least in terms of me anyway. I enjoy his story. I'll admit his gameplay isn't my favourite, but I do appreciate a lot of the intricacies that went into designing it, and for what it's worth, for those of you who do enjoy his gameplay style, then fantastic. I don't know, I mean, I guess part of me is just a little bit tired of hearing the same old Big the Cat is just funny meme joke. Which again, I don't think he even entirely deserves, because there are dumber Sonic characters out there. And I'm not even talking about the ones that everybody likes to make fun of, like Infinite or, you know, anything else. It's just tiresome, really. I don't know. But then again, that's just my 2 cents. I like Big, I enjoy his story. His gameplay, I can appreciate the intricacies that went into it. It's just a very simplistic gameplay style that I feel probably would have worked a lot better had Sonic RPG on the Sega Saturn been a thing, assuming of course that Big was even invented for it back then. But again, it is what it is, and if you enjoy it then, well, I hope at the very least this satisfied you in having somebody, or at the very least a Sonic fan anyway, look at Big in a more neutral light. So, on that note, I'm Skully, keep it new metal, catch you later.